Now, in one of my last videos, my touch typing video, I talked about my journey and why I decided to learn how to touch type. But since then, I've come across a few other products which, if I'd have known, maybe it would have altered my decision to invest the time into learning how to touch type. They are like voice to text programs. The most well-known and probably the best is a program called Dragon Naturally Speaking. It's some software created by a company called Nuance, and they do basically, you install it on your computer, you put your headset on, you have to train the program to recognize your voice and your speech patterns, so you just have to read some text, and then you just put your headphones on and with your microphone and you speak straight into it, and then it just translates what you're saying into your word processor. Now, it's not 100% accurate, and I guess the further your accent is from Plum English and the less clearly that you articulate your words, the worse the program does at reading what you're trying to say. But I'd probably estimate, I mean, the company claims it has about 98% accuracy. You still get a lot faster than if you were just trying to type with a few fingers or looking at the keyboard. The only problem with that speech to text program is that it does make the errors, and then you have to go back and make the edits and changes, which does slow down the amount of words you can get done per minute. It is a little bit frustrating, especially if you say the word and it does it wrong, and you clear it off, and you say it again, it does it wrong again, you clear it off. You can do this 4 or 5 times and it still won't actually input the word that you're trying to get it to recognize, which can be very frustrating, and then you just end up just typing it in anyway. The big problem with this kind of products, like a speech to text program, is that there's not really much privacy. You have to speak everything aloud, which means if there's people in your vicinity that you might be wanting to put some sensitive material out there, or you're shy about what you're saying or talking about, or it's some kind of confidential work stuff, then that may affect your decision to want to use it, and then that makes it not as useful. Another point is that over time, though, these programs are going to get better, you know, and even though it's maybe 90% now, I mean, imagine in 10 years' time, it might be 99.5% accurate, and then maybe that switches the decision. Now, obviously, all of those negatives that I just talked about with using a voice-to-text program, they're the strengths of touch typing. Like, it's private. You can be typing on whatever, and anybody in your vicinity doesn't really know what you're typing unless they're looking directly at your screen. It's also, you don't have to install the program on other people's computers. Like, if you're in a work environment, you can switch from one computer to another, or if your company won't invest in kind of voice to text technology, then you can still be very productive. Also, like, in the future, I mean, a lot of people are just doing the computer on the mobile phones, and so the predictive text stuff, that's going to get better, and maybe that's going to increase your typing speed to quicker than you would be able to touch typing. But I mean, there is a lot of other benefits, some of which I mentioned in my previous video. Just it's kind of a bit of a discipline a bit of a practice and you get to conquer something that's difficult, which can be very rewarding. It makes you look like you've accomplished something. It makes you look more intelligent than probably what you are, because people assume that you probably know technology, you're using computers a lot, because you know, in all of the like movies, all the hackers are, and in the court dramas, all the court typists are hammer away on their typewriters. So that's some other things to think about with learning to touch type, because maybe if the technology gets to the point where you can, I mean, it's all sci-fi at this point. Maybe there's going to be a point in the future where you can just think what you want and it comes up on your device. Who knows? But until those technologies come about, I'm personally very glad that I did decide to invest the time into learning. It helps with writing my book and filling out my descriptions and tags for these videos, so I'm benefiting from that past effort. But yeah, see you later. Hope this has been interesting and helpful.